Hello everybody, my name is Aaron Culp and welcome to episode 3 of the Swole and Busy podcast. In today's episode we're going to be talking about cutting. Last episode was about bulking, so we're going to be covering the actual cutting part of the bulk. So to make this nice and simple, we're going to be talking about the 5 rules to cutting. Rule 1, must be in a calorie deficit. Rule 2, stimulate muscles to keep muscle. Rule 3, don't cut too much. Rule 4, 1 gram of protein per pound. And rule 5 is follow all the 4 steps. All right, so breaking it down in a calorie deficit. What is a calorie deficit? A calorie deficit is simply just eating less than your body needs to maintain its weight. There's this calculator called a TDEE calculator, which just simply means total deficit energy expenditure calculator, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's what it stands for. I'm not sure about the last 2 E's. Anyhow, you go on the TDEE calculator. From there, you punch in your weight, name. From there, you go on this TDEE calculator, plug in your age, height, and weight. And then from there, it's going to give you how much you should be eating, and it's going to tell you if you're obese or not for your height. Based off that, that's going to help you a lot. If you guys are obese based off those metrics, what you're going to need to do is, I would highly suggest going on a cut before you consider bulking. If you're a man and you're above 15% body fat, I would definitely consider going on a cut before bulking. Because basically what happens is, when you go on a bulk, you're making yourself more susceptible to insulin. Just to run you guys through real quick, your starting body fat will be higher once you're done bulking. The more fat you have, the more likely you are to store calories as fat. As body fat levels rise, insulin levels decrease. Decreased insulin levels result in more weight gain. And the worst part is protein synthesis slows down, meaning you'll be producing less muscle because protein synthesis is going to decrease. It's not going to turn off, but you're going to be producing way less muscle. Additionally, with increased weight gain, it's going to cause the increase in the hormone of estrogen. Estrogen is predominantly, mainly in women. Men, we have some of it, but it's more in women. So basically what this is going to do is, forms of high estrogen, like if you have man boobs, it's a sign you should definitely go on a cut before going on a bulk. And also, with increased levels of estrogen, that just simply means that you're going to be producing less testosterone. Like your testosterone is going to decrease. And testosterone is responsible for building muscle. So real quick recap. If you're a man and you're above 18% body fat, definitely go on a cut. If you're a woman and you're above 25% body fat, definitely go on a cut. Now, for those of you that are still listening and you realize that you definitely should be cutting, you're gonna wanna hear that. I'm sure most of us know the general idea of the benefits of cutting weight, improved heart, better blood circulation. There's a whole bunch of other things. So I'm not gonna really go into that. But if you're here, chances are you're more here for the physical aspects, so we're gonna dive deep into that. So guys, there's really only one way to lose weight, and that is being inside of a calorie deficit. So simply what that means is, all you're gonna do is usually I would suggest cutting your calories anywhere from 300 to 500. There's different forms of diets, but virtually none of them matter because they all do the same exact thing. The only thing that diets do is they put you inside of a state of a low calorie intake. And anytime you're in a low calorie intake, you're gonna inevitably lose weight. Now, since we're on the topic of diets, I wanna say, guys, don't waste your time on a diet. Never go on a diet. Going on a diet is a complete waste of time. Instead, what you should do is you should slowly focus on changing your everyday aspect of life. It's really been proven by science. It's a lot harder to do something if it requires willpower versus you're just naturally doing it and it just becomes second nature. So for example, before we put anybody ever on a cut, when it comes to our clients, we always tell them to make things difficult to do. So for example, junk food. Things like Lay's potato chips. We like all that junk food in the house, we just take it out. If it's not there, you can't eat it. And if you do want it, you have to get out of the car, you have to drive to the gas station, you have to get one bag. You only get one bag. Humans by nature are lazy. We always want to pick the path of least resistance. So we can exploit human nature and make things easier to do by simply making it more difficult to do them. When you guys are cutting, you guys are going to want to have snacks. There are many low-calorie snacks you can get, so you're just going to have to look around. One of my favorites are the fudge sickles. Anytime you have a sweet tooth, grab one of those fudge sickles. I think they're like 20 calories. Oh my gosh, it's just fudge goodness. Or protein shakes. Talk more about snacks later. Now, when you are cutting, the most difficult thing is going to be to maintain your strength, which is why programming is so important. Anytime you're cutting, guys, all you need to do is there's an app called MyFitnessPal. You go on there, track your calories, make sure you always stay below, make sure you're always at that exact number or below it for your calorie daily intake. And when it comes to actual training itself, you're always going to want to track your weight, because basically what most people do is they come off the bulk, then they go back down to the cut. And then when you have your bulk numbers, so for example, if you're bench pressing 225 for 10 reps, once you start cutting, you're going to want to try to maintain that same amount of strength so you can still bench 225 for 10 reps. And the most important thing to maintaining strength during a cut is simply just keep up your protein levels. You want to try to intake as much protein as possible, at the same time while staying below. These are just some general rules to help you guys during your cut to maintain strength. When it comes to cardio, I will not train more than 30 minutes per day of low intensity cardio. And then when it comes to cardio, I would suggest not doing it before you're training because it can lower your energy levels. And since you're already in a deficit, you're gonna already have less energy. And when it comes to like cardio in general, you're not gonna wanna do more than half of your volume of training. So for example, if you're training for 4 hours a week in total of like lifting weights, don't do more than 2 hours of cardio that's low intensity. And then when it comes to like high intensity interval training, you're gonna wanna keep that to the minimum. Now I know what some of you might be thinking right now. Well, in order for me to lose weight, the only thing I need to do is be in a deficit. So that means I can eat donuts and have cake and have ice cream. And as long as I stay below my daily maintenance, below my daily deficit, I'll still be able to lose weight. Is that true? Yes, that is true. As long as you stay below your maintenance amount of calories, you will always be losing weight. However, with that, there's a caveat. Processed foods are not very filling. So what that means is you're gonna feel hungrier faster. So for example, if you were to have a donut, you might feel full, but 30 minutes go by, you're gonna be hungry again. So what do? You go grab another donut. And every single time you do that, a donut's like 220 calories a piece. Versus if you were to have like a low calorie meal, and you have chicken breast, cauliflower rice, and like some vegetables, and that whole meal might be 300, and you'll be full for like 2-3 hours. So when it comes to cutting, guys, the most important thing to make your life as easy as possible is you wanna have single ingredient foods. Single ingredient just meaning things that are like real, like fruit, meats, things that are not processed, nuts, stuff like that. You guys keep hearing me talking about energy levels. It's only because energy levels are one of the most difficult things to do when it comes to a cut. So since you have less food, you're gonna have, inevitably, you're gonna feel like you have less energy. The best supplements to resist this tiredness are creatine, protein, multivitamin, and fish oil. Fish oil is a big one for your recovery. A multivitamin is just it's gonna make up for everything that you're lacking in. Protein, it's really hard to consume the amount of protein that we need, so a protein shake is just gonna help you get to where you need to be. And creatine, I talked about creatine in the last episode, but simply all creatine does is it just increases your muscle recovery, making it easier to recover from gym sessions. When you're cutting, you're eventually gonna reach a plateau where you're gonna be looking at the scale every day and you're not gonna be losing any weight. You're gonna be thinking to yourself, I'm not losing any weight, am I doing something wrong? This is probably most likely why you're not losing any weight. Number one, there's something called water retention, which just simply means your body's holding in a ton of water because it thinks it's gonna die. And number two, it's possible that you're tracking your calories incorrectly. But assuming it's none of that, guys, I promise me, just stick to the rules, and 3 weeks go by, and you'll probably drop all that weight. Because trust me, as long as you're in a calorie deficit, no matter what you do, you're gonna be losing weight. One of the things that will prevent you from quitting your fitness journey is by documenting everything. I would suggest documenting your weight every day. Every single morning when you wake up after you use the bathroom, step on the scale and see how much you weigh. What it's gonna do is it's gonna give you data to see if you're improving or if you're not improving. Additionally, I would highly suggest getting like an accountability partner or like a coach. Having someone that you care about keep you on track of your goal makes things much easier because it's not all about me. It's not you versus the world. It's you and them against the world, and the world being you trying to get your goal. Rather, if it's cutting or bulking. When it comes to any cut or any bulk, the most important thing is consistency. But when it comes to your first cut, I would recommend going on a 6-week cut. That will give you just enough time to see some results, but not enough time that you're gonna get burnt out. So go on your 6-week cut, see how you feel. If you feel good, either you can stay at where you're at, or if you wanna lose weight faster, just cut down your calories a little bit more. Or on the opposite side of the spectrum, if you feel like crap, guys, but you still wanna lose weight, just stay in a deficit, but just slightly increase your calories. That's gonna give you more energy, and you're gonna have better training sessions. I'm not sure if I recovered this, but make sure you take pictures of yourself. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna be looking at week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and week 6. And you're gonna see your body just change. You're like, oh my gosh. You're gonna be looking at your pictures and you're gonna be like, I can actually see my abs in week 6. And week 2, I had no abs. So stuff like that, that's gonna keep you going. And I think possibly one of the most important things that no one ever talks about when it comes to cutting is, guys, you guys need to have me time. For example, if you want a donut, go get a donut. Because you have space in your calories for it. Just know that, okay, just don't overindulge. You're like, I can have 1 donut, but I cannot have 2. It's just simple things like that that are gonna prevent you from going insane. Because if someone were to tell you, like, for the rest of your life, you can never have another cookie, like, you look at them like they're crazy. You're like, but I love that. And guys, life is all about enjoying it. So what good is it being in the best shape of your life if you can't go to parties, you can't have fun with your friends, you just can't do anything. You can't have coffee because like, oh, I can't have cream and sugar because then I'm not gonna look like this. What good is it looking like I'm like a Greek god if you're miserable? There is none. So enjoy life. All right, guys, here's a quick recap. You must be in a calorie deficit. You must stimulate muscles to keep your muscle. Don't cut too much body fat. Typically, only 0.5 to 1% per pound. 1 gram of protein per pound, and rule 5, follow all the rules. So in short, guys, you're gonna wanna eat healthy foods, single ingredient foods. want to try to stay away from processed things as much as possible. It's going to make it very difficult for you to stay below your calories because you're always going to be hungry because these things do not satisfy you. When it comes to junk food, you got to make it as hard as possible to get your hands on it. Humans are innately by nature lazy. So the more challenging something is, the less likely we are to want something. For those of you that's your first cut ever, I would suggest only going on a cut for 6 weeks. To maintain energy levels, try to avoid cardio before workouts. And when it comes to the cut itself, only do a 6-week cut. Figure out how you feel. If you feel good, stick with the cut. If you feel bad, increase your calories. If you guys need any more help, there'll be a link in the description to a free 30-day program just to give you guys some guidance. And if you guys want some coaching, I'm always here. Just hit me up at Aaron Colvin on pretty much any social media platform, and I'd love to help you. I really hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. You know, I am trying to grow this, so since I am still new to this, I'd really appreciate it if you are enjoying the show, please give it a review on Spotify or iTunes. It really doesn't mean the world to me. I gotta say, I'm loving this. I've been starting to do this every day, and I finally think I found my real passion. I'll see you guys in the next one.